Someone's playing a game, and I'm the target.
The cop's hand was shaking when he pulled me aside at the gas station. Not a good shake. The kind that means someone's about to tell you your life just exploded. "Don't go home," he whispered, shoving a crumpled note into my palm while my wife Amy stood 20 feet away, texting furiously next to our Honda. "Just trust me on this one, Mike." I'd known Officer Dan Brennan since high school, never seen him scared. The note felt like it weighed 50 pounds in my pocket as I watched Amy's face transform from worried to relieved the second his cruiser pulled away. That smile, I'd seen it before. The night she said she was working late but came home smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. In the car, she hummed along to the radio like nothing happened. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. The text made me freeze. "Check your glove box. Your wife put something there. Don't react. Act normal." "Honey, can you grab me a tissue?" Amy asked, eyes on the road. I opened the glove box. 3 photos fell out. Me at the ATM, me at my office, me buying groceries. Each one had a red X drawn over my face. My hands didn't shake. 15 years of marriage taught me to hide reactions better than that. "Find one?" she asked, glancing over. "Yeah." I handed her a tissue, slipping the photos into my jacket. "Hey, I need to stop by Tom's place. He's having router issues." "Now? It's almost 9. "Emergency call. You know how it is with IT work." She shrugged, that practiced indifference I'd grown to hate. As she dropped me at Tom's, my old college buddy who lived in a duplex near the woods, I kissed her cheek. She tasted like lies. Tom wasn't home. Perfect. I kept his spare key since helping him move in. Inside, I finally read Brennan's note. "The people in your house are not your friends. They're watching you. Check your security system. Call 207-555-0147 after midnight." My laptop was in my bag, habit of a freelance security tech. I remote accessed our home network, fingers flying across keys. Our security cam system showed offline since Tuesday, but there was a new device on the network. Unauthorized camera, different brand than ours. Someone had been watching us. No, watching me. I called the number at 12:01. It rang once. "Mike?" A woman's voice, familiar but distorted. "Who is this?" "Someone who knows what your wife's planning. Check Brad Garrett's fish tank tomorrow. You'll understand everything." Click. Brad Garrett? Amy's life coach who'd been helping her find herself for 6 months. The guy who drove a Mustang he couldn't afford and wore jewelry that screamed midlife crisis. I'd met him twice. Both times he'd stared at Amy like she was dessert. My phone lit up with Amy's Instagram. New post. "Grateful for the amazing people in my life. #blessed #new beginnings." The photo showed her with 3 work friends at what looked like our living room, posted 5 minutes ago. The coffee table had wine glasses. 4 of them. But she'd texted me she was going to bed early. I zoomed in. There, in the reflection of our TV screen, a man's shoulder. Blue shirt. Brad always wore blue. The next morning, I parked 3 blocks from Brad's apartment complex, the kind of place where everyone's either dealing pills or cheating on someone. His Mustang sat in its usual spot, custom plates reading Life Coach 1. I'd done security work here before, knew the building's cameras had been broken for months. His apartment was 2nd floor, end unit. The super owed me a favor from when I'd recovered his stolen laptop. Got me inside the building, no questions. Brad's door had a smart lock. Took me 4 minutes to bypass it using a vulnerability I'd reported to the manufacturer months ago. They never patched it. The place reeked of incense and desperation. Motivational posters covered every wall. "Your best life starts now," and "winners don't make excuses." The fish tank dominated the living room. 100 gallons tropical fish swimming in LED-lit water. Behind it, barely visible through the bubbling water and plastic coral, was a small wireless camera. My hands worked automatically, pulling the device free. It was connected to a hidden hard drive tucked behind the tank stand. I plugged in my portable monitor. Dozens of folders, each labeled with names. Half the town was here. Amy's folder had over 50 videos. The latest was from yesterday. Our bedroom. Amy and Brad, laughing about my pathetic attempt to surprise her with anniversary flowers last month. "He actually thought I'd care," she said, voice dripping contempt. 15 years, and he still doesn't know me at all. "After next week, you won't have to pretend anymore," Brad replied, running his hands through her hair. "Cheryl's brother works at the courthouse. Restraining orders basically guaranteed. We just need him to do something stupid. The photos should help. Makes him look like a stalker. You're brilliant, babe. I copied everything to 3 separate drives. The other folders contained enough blackmail material to destroy half the town's marriages. Brad wasn't just a life coach. He was running a side business in human misery. My phone buzzed. Amy, where are you? Tom said you left early. I texted back. Client emergency. Be home for dinner. The police station was my next stop. Brennan was on desk duty, eyes widening when he saw me. You get my note? Why'd you warn me? He glanced around, then led me outside. Your wife's friend Cheryl? Her husband's my cousin. Heard them planning something at a barbecue last week. Something about teaching you a lesson, making sure you couldn't fight the divorce. He paused. Mike, they've been planning this for months. I know. I showed him one screenshot from Brad's files. Nothing explicit, just enough. There's more. Lots more. His face went pale. Jesus, is that Judge Morrison's wife? Among others. You can't. Mike, if this gets out, I'm not interested in collateral damage, just want what's mine. He nodded slowly. Be careful. Cheryl's got connections everywhere. Her brother's a lawyer, cousin runs the bank, sister works at the hospital. This town's smaller than you think. That evening, I walked into my house like everything was normal. Amy was cooking. My favorite meal, weirdly enough. Guilt, maybe, or part of the setup. Smells great, I said, kissing her cheek. She stiffened slightly. Just wanted to do something nice. Her smile was painted on. You've been working so hard lately. Dinner was a performance. She asked about my day. I made up client stories. She laughed at my jokes. First time in months. The wine appeared after the main course. I don't usually drink on weeknights, I said. Come on, live a little. She poured generous glasses. To us, I pretended to sip, then accidentally knocked mine over reaching for the salt. Oops, sorry, I'll clean it up. While mopping the spill, I spotted it, tiny white residue in my glass. Not enough to see unless you were looking. I palmed the glass, switched it with a clean one when she wasn't looking. Let me pour you another, she offered quickly. Actually, I'm getting a headache. Think I'll turn in early. Her jaw tightened. But it's only 8. Big day tomorrow. New client meeting. In our bedroom, I set up my laptop, pretending to work while monitoring our home network. At 9:47, the unauthorized camera activated. Audio came through my earbuds. He didn't drink it. Amy's voice, from the living room. Doesn't matter, Brad replied. Plan B. Cheryl's ready with the witness statement. Says she saw him following you Tuesday. But he wasn't. Doesn't matter what's true. Matters what we can prove. I started recording everything. The next morning, Amy left for her real estate office early, unusual for her. I called in sick to my biggest client, then drove to the Pine Tree Motel on Route 1, the kind of place that rented rooms by the hour and didn't ask questions. The desk clerk, Marge, 60-something with hair dyed purple and more gossip than CNN, grinned when she saw me. Mike, haven't seen you since you fixed our Wi-Fi. How's Amy? She's good. Hey, Marge, weird question. She been here recently? Think she might be showing properties nearby? Marge's expression shifted. Honey, your wife ain't been showing no properties here? She glanced around, then leaned closer. But if you want to know about room 12 Tuesday afternoons, what about room 12? Let's just say your wife's been doing housework she ain't getting paid for. That Brad fellow's been renting it regular like. Has some interesting visitors. My stomach churned. How long? 4 months, maybe 5, always pays cash. But here's the interesting part. She pulled out her phone, showed me a video. Security footage from last week. That's your wife's friend Cheryl going into room 11. Same time as your wife's in 12. The video showed Cheryl carrying a small recording device. They're not as clever as they think, Marge continued. That Cheryl's been recording everything. Not for fun, neither. Heard her on the phone once talking about insurance or something. Insurance? For the divorce, honey? Evidence Brad's not faithful. So your wife gets everything in her divorce from you, then takes Brad for everything in hers from him. She patted my hand. These walls are thin. You hear things. I bought Marge lunch and got copies of everything she had. The puzzle was coming together. Amy wasn't just cheating. She was running a long con with Cheryl. Get me out of the picture, take my business and savings, then turn on Brad and take his blackmail profits. That afternoon, I parked outside the gym where Brad worked. His Mustang sat in the handicapped spot. Of course it did. I had 3 hours before Amy expected me home. The gym was mostly empty, mid-afternoon lull. Brad was in the yoga studio teaching a life transformation through movement class to 4 bored housewives. I waited until he was demonstrating a complex pose, then walked in. "Hey, Brad, can we talk?" He nearly fell over. "Mike, this is a closed class. It's important, about Amy." The housewives perked up, sensing drama. Brad's face cycled through panic, anger, and fake concern before settling on condescension. "Whatever's happening in your marriage, this isn't the place." "You're right." I turned to the class. "Ladies, did you know Brad here has been recording his private sessions? There's a camera in his fish tank. Check for yourselves if you don't believe me." 2 of them grabbed their phones immediately. Brad went white. You can't what? Tell the truth?" I pulled out my phone, showed the photo of his hidden camera. "How many of your clients have you filmed, Brad? For the life coaching or for the blackmail? You're insane." But his voice cracked. One of the women, a lawyer's wife I recognized, stood up. "Is this true? He's lying. He's just jealous because what? Because you're sleeping with my wife?" I kept my voice calm, friendly even. "Everyone knows that, Brad. Tuesday afternoons at the Pine Tree, room 12, sometimes Thursdays too. Marge, at the front desk, has opinions about your stamina, by the way." Someone laughed. Brad's face went purple. "Get out before I call the cops." "Go ahead. I'm sure they'd love to know about your little film collection, especially the folder labeled Morrison." I didn't mention that Morrison was a judge. Everyone knew that. Brad lunged at me, sloppy and telegraphed. I sidestepped, and he crashed into the mirror wall. The housewives scattered, phones out, recording everything. "You're pathetic," I told him, loud enough for the cameras. "A bargain basement con man who preys on unhappy people. At least own it." I left him there, cursing and threatening to sue while his class live-streamed his meltdown. That evening, Amy came home in tears. Full performance mode, Oscar-worthy. "Something terrible happened. Someone attacked Brad at the gym." Attacked? I looked up from my laptop, concerned boyfriend face engaged. "Is he okay?" "Someone accused him of terrible things. Recording people without consent. The police are investigating." "Wow. And you were just saying how helpful he's been with your personal growth." Her eye twitched. "This has nothing to do with me." "Of course not." I went back to my screen. "Oh, by the way, Cheryl called earlier. Said something about meeting tomorrow. Sounded urgent." Amy went still. "Cheryl called here?" "Yeah, around 2. Said you weren't answering your cell." That was a lie. But Amy didn't know that. She grabbed her phone, stepped outside to call Cheryl. I activated the recording app on my phone, catching her end of the conversation through the window. "No, I don't know how he knows." "Yes, I'm sure he drank it." "What do you mean the camera's not working?" "Just stick to the plan." "Tomorrow? Yeah, I'll handle it." She came back in, fake smile plastered on. "Just girl stuff. You know how Cheryl is?" "Yeah, I know exactly how Cheryl is." That night, I pretended to sleep while Amy texted frantically beside me. Through barely open eyes, I could see her screen. Group chat with Cheryl and 2 others, Diane from her office, Rachel from her book club. They were panicking about Brad, about the plan falling apart. "He knows something," Amy typed. "Impossible," Cheryl responded, "unless someone talked." "Dan warned him," Diane wrote. "Saw them talking at the station. That cop's always been trouble. His cousin married my idiot husband. Probably told him everything." "So what now?" "We accelerate. Tomorrow, lunch meeting at the office. Bring the papers." I memorized every word. The next morning, I left early, telling Amy I had a client emergency in Portland, 2 hours away. Instead, I drove to her office building and set up in the coffee shop across the street. Her real estate firm was on the 3rd floor, glass windows facing the street. I could see the conference room clearly. At noon, they gathered. Amy, Cheryl, Diane, Rachel, and a man I recognized as Cheryl's brother, the lawyer. Papers spread across the table. Cheryl's brother was explaining something, pointing at specific lines. Amy was nodding, signing documents. I called Brennan. "They're at her office now. Whatever they're planning, it's happening. Can't do anything without cause, Mike. What if I had video evidence of conspiracy to file false charges? That'd be different. But you'd need... Check your email." I sent him 3 files from Brad's collection. Nothing explicit, just enough to show the planning sessions. His response was immediate. "Jesus Christ, stay put." But I was already moving. The building's security was a joke. I'd updated their system 2 years ago, left myself a back door because they'd stiffed me on payment. I entered through the parking garage, took the stairs to the 2nd floor, then accessed the maintenance corridor that ran behind the offices. The conference room shared a vent with the supply closet. I could hear everything. "Restraining orders ready. Cheryl's brother was saying. Just need the incident report. What incident? Amy asked. The one that's about to happen. Rachel's husband owns the security company. He'll swear he saw Mike threaten you in the parking lot today. Camera footage mysteriously corrupted, of course. But he's in Portland. No, Cheryl interrupted. He's across the street. Diane saw his car. This is perfect. When he shows up here, we call the police, say he's stalking you. Rachel's already called it in as a concerned friend. The cops will be here in 10 minutes, Rachel added. You just need to look scared. I recorded everything, then texted Brennan. They're framing me for stalking. Cops coming. What do I do? Get out, now. I'll handle this. But it was too late. Sirens were already approaching. I made it to the stairwell just as 2 officers entered the lobby. Not Brennan. Younger cops I didn't recognize. I took the stairs up instead of down, heading for the roof. The access door was locked, but the same master key that worked on the supply closets worked here. Lazy building management has its perks. The roof gave me a view of the chaos below. 3 patrol cars now, Amy and her crew spilling out of the building, Amy doing her best terrified victim act. I could see Brennan's car pulling up, saw him arguing with the younger cops. My phone buzzed. Unknown number again. Garden shed behind building. Green door. Now. I didn't have many options. The fire escape on the north side was hidden from the street. I made it down in 90 seconds, sprinted to the shed. The door was unlocked. Inside, sitting on a stool like she'd been waiting all day, was Judge Morrison's wife, Patricia, 60 years old, sharp as a surgeon's scalpel, and apparently one of Brad's blackmail victims. Hello, Mike. Mrs. Morrison? Patricia, please. We have about 3 minutes before they expand the search. I know what your wife's doing. I know because Brad tried the same thing with me. She handed me a flash drive. Everything's on here. Brad's real records, not the edited ones he shows clients. Your wife's been planning this for 8 months. Why help me? Because Brad made a mistake. He recorded my husband and me in a private moment, tried to use it as leverage. My husband's not perfect, but he's mine. And nobody threatens what's mine. Her smile was sharp. Plus, your wife made a bigger mistake. She involved Cheryl, and Cheryl's been skimming from the hospital fundraisers I chair. I've been waiting for an excuse to destroy her. Sirens were getting closer. What do I do? You run. Let them think they've won. Tonight, there's a town council meeting about the new shopping development. Half the town will be there, including your wife and her friends. They're presenting for the real estate opportunity. That's when you make your move. How do you... I've been planning this longer than they have, Mike. Brad wasn't the only one with cameras. Now go. Back door. Through the woods. Your friend Tom's waiting in his truck 2 blocks north. She was right. Tom's truck was idling right where she said, Tom behind the wheel, looking confused but ready. Mike, what the heck? Drive. I'll explain everything. As we pulled away, I saw the search expanding. Cops checking every building. Amy was crying on Cheryl's shoulder, pointing at various spots where I'd supposedly been lurking. The performance of her life. Tom drove us to his cabin 40 minutes outside town, the one place nobody knew about except us. No cell service, no neighbors, perfect isolation. I spent the afternoon reviewing Patricia's files. The scope of Amy's betrayal was breathtaking. She'd been moving money for months, small amounts, nothing traceable. Opening accounts in her maiden name, my mother's name. She'd even taken out insurance policies on me. 3 of them. Mike, Tom said, reading over my shoulder. I know. No, you don't. Look at this date. He pointed at one of the insurance policies. That's 2 days before your dad died. She knew you'd inherit his business accounts. My father had left me his small IT consulting firm when he'd passed 6 months ago. Nothing huge, but steady clients and about $200,000 in assets. Amy had been so supportive during the grief. Now I knew why. The town council meeting was at 7. I had 3 hours to prepare. Tom dropped me at the library, the one place in town without cameras because the librarian, Mrs. Chen, believed in privacy like religion. She didn't even look up when I walked in. I used the public computers to upload everything to multiple cloud services, created anonymous email accounts, scheduled automatic sends. If something happened to me, every news outlet in Maine would get the full story at midnight. Then I called Marge at the motel. Remember that favor you owe me? Honey, after what you did for my grandson, I owe you 10 favors. I just need one. During the town council meeting tonight, I need you to play something on the projection screen. The one in the main hall? My nephew runs the AV system? Perfect. At exactly 7:45, I need this video playing. I sent her the file. Amy and Brad's greatest hits, edited for public consumption. Nothing graphic, just them discussing their plans, mocking me, admitting to the frame job. Oh, honey, this is delicious. Consider it done. At 6:45, I walked into the town hall through the back entrance. The place was packed. 200 people easy, all here to argue about the shopping center. Amy was in the front row with her crew, presentation folders ready. Brad sat 3 rows back, trying to look casual despite his black eye from the gym incident. I took a seat in the back corner, baseball cap pulled low. Nobody noticed another body in the crowd. At 7:15, Amy took the stage. Professional blazer, perfect hair, every inch the successful realtor. Good evening, everyone. I'm here representing Coastal Realty Group, and we're excited about the opportunity this development brings. She was good, smooth, confident, hitting all the right notes about community growth and economic opportunity. The crowd was eating it up. Cheryl and the others nodded along, the perfect support system. At 7:30, question time started. I stood up. I have a question. Every head turned. Amy's face went white, then red, then white again. Mike, you can't be here. There's a restraining... No, there isn't. I walked forward, hands visible and empty. Didn't want to spook anyone. The restraining order was denied an hour ago. Judge Morrison reviewed the evidence and found it lacking. Cheryl's brother jumped to his feet. This is harassment. Someone call the police. Already here, Brennan said from the side door. He wasn't alone. 2 state troopers flanked him. Got a call about potential fraud. Thought we'd listen in. This is ridiculous. Amy's voice pitched higher. He's been stalking me. Tell them, Cheryl. Actually, I said, pulling out my phone, let's hear what Cheryl really thinks. I played the audio from their planning session, Cheryl's voice filling the hall. The restraining order's ready. Just need the incident report. Rachel's husband will swear he saw Mike threaten you. Camera footage mysteriously corrupted, of course. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Rachel's husband, sitting in the 3rd row, went pale. That's fake, Cheryl shrieked. He doctored it. Really? Because I have video too. Marge? Right on cue, the projection screen lit up. There was Amy in Brad's apartment, the fish tank camera capturing everything. After next week, you won't have to pretend anymore. We just need him to do something stupid. The crowd erupted. Someone yelled, Is that Brad Garrett? Another voice, That's not her husband. Amy tried to run, but the center aisle was packed. Brad stood up, pointing at me. This is illegal. You broke into my apartment? Actually, Patricia Morrison said, standing up from her front row seat. The apartment complex owner gave full permission for security inspection after receiving reports of illegal recording devices. Isn't that right, Mr. Kowalski? The complex owner, a mountain of a man in the 5th row, nodded. You're absolutely right. Can't have perverts filming people in my building. This is entrapment. Cheryl's brother was sweating through his suit. None of this is admissible. In court? Maybe not, I agreed. But this isn't court. This is the court of public opinion, and they're about to hear everything. The screen changed. New video. Brad in his gym, folders visible on his laptop screen. Names everyone recognized. Morrison, Peterson, Williams. Half the town's dirty laundry filed and categorized. Turn it off. Brad rushed the AV booth, but Tom stepped out, blocking him. They collided, Brad bouncing off Tom like a pinball. Here's my favorite part, I announced as the video continued. Amy's voice again. The insurance policies are already set up. 3 companies, they won't cross-reference. After the divorce, if something happens to him... The state troopers moved toward the stage. Amy saw them coming, grabbed the mic. He's lying, all of it. Mike's always been unstable. Ask anyone. He hit me. When? I asked calmly. Last month. At home? Interesting, because last month I was in Boston for a conference. 400 IT professionals saw my presentation on network security. Here's the video. I held up my phone, showing the conference footage. Time-stamped, verified, and I have about 50 business cards from people I met. Amy's mouth opened and closed like the fish in Brad's tank. But hey, I continued, let's talk about what really happened last month. You withdrew $5,000 from our joint account, said it was for your mother's medical bills. Your mother who's been dead for 3 years. Gasps from the crowd. Amy's mask finally cracked completely. You bastard! You ruined everything! We were happy before you inherited that money. There it was. The truth, finally. We were never happy, Amy. You were just better at pretending. I turned to the crowd. By the way, check your emails tomorrow. If Brad filmed you, you'll be getting a notification. All the files are being turned over to the state police. Brad made another run for the exit. This time, 3 fishermen from the docks stood up, forming a wall. Where you going, coach? Thought you were all about facing challenges head-on? The meeting devolved into chaos. Amy screaming at Cheryl, Cheryl blaming Rachel, Rachel crying about her husband's involvement, Brad trying to negotiate with everyone at once, throwing out desperate offers and threats. I walked out during the symphony of destruction, Brennan beside me. You know they'll try to come after you legally. With what money? Amy's accounts are frozen. Patricia Morrison made sure of that. Brad's about to be sued by 30 people. Cheryl's looking at embezzlement charges for the hospital funds. What about you? What's next? I looked back at the town hall, still echoing with shouts and accusations. I'm thinking about moving, Portland maybe, fresh start. And Amy? She's got what she wanted. She's free to deal with the mess she created. 2 weeks later, I was packing the last box when Amy showed up. No makeup, sweatpants, driving a borrowed car. Hers had been repossessed. I lost everything, she said. No, you threw everything away. There's a difference. I loved you once. No, you loved the idea of me. The potential money, the inheritance, the life you thought I owed you. You never loved me. She stood there for a moment, maybe hoping for sympathy or forgiveness. She got neither. Brad's gone, she said finally. Left town in the middle of the night. Took what money he had left. Smart man. Cheryl's facing charges. I heard. Everyone hates me. You earned it. She turned to leave, then stopped. Was any of it real? Our marriage? I thought about it. The first year, maybe, before you decided I wasn't enough. She walked away without another word. I never saw her again. Tom helped me load the truck. Patricia Morrison had connected me with a security firm in Portland. Legitimate work, double my old salary. Turns out exposing a town-wide blackmail ring was good for the resume. You sure about this? Tom asked. Yeah, this place is poison now. What about revenge? Don't you want to see how it plays out? I looked at my wedding ring, still sitting on the kitchen counter where I'd left it. Revenge is like fishing, Tom. Once you've got what you came for, staying longer just means you might lose it all. That's deep, man. No, that's therapy. Turns out I needed some after all this. We laughed, loaded the last box. As I drove out of town, past the motel where Marge waved from the office, past the gym with its closed for renovations sign, past the town hall where they were still dealing with the fallout, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years. Freedom. My phone buzzed at the town limits. Text from an unknown number. Your wife's pregnant, thought you should know. Patricia. I pulled over, stared at the message, did the math. The timing meant I deleted the text, blocked the number, and kept driving. Some things were better left in the rearview mirror. Amy had wanted a new beginning. Now she had one, complete with consequences she'd never planned for. The Portland skyline appeared an hour later, sun setting behind the buildings. My new apartment was small but clean, with no memories haunting the corners. The security firm started me Monday. Simple work, protecting people's data instead of exposing it. That night, I sat on my empty floor, eating Chinese takeout from a box, and laughed. Really laughed, for the first time in years. Amy had spent 8 months planning the perfect crime. I'd destroyed it in 2 weeks, with nothing but the truth and a borrowed projector. My phone rang. Brennan. Mike? Thought you should know. Brad got arrested trying to run the same scam in New Hampshire. Amy's been calling everyone trying to borrow money. Cheryl's husband filed for divorce, and Rachel, turns out she was skimming from the real estate office. It's all coming apart. Not my problem anymore. No, guess not. Hey, Mike, you did good. Most people would have gone darker with it. Darkness is easy. Living well, that's the real revenge. I hung up, looked around my empty apartment, and smiled. Tomorrow I'd buy furniture. Maybe a fish tank, but definitely no hidden cameras. Outside, Portland hummed with possibility. New city, new job, new life. Amy had wanted me gone, wanted my money, wanted everything except me. In the end, she got exactly what she deserved, nothing. And me, I got the one thing she never could have given me. A second chance. I stood at the window, watching the city lights twinkle like stars I could actually reach. My reflection stared back, tired, but not broken, older, but not bitter. Amy had bet everything on my weakness. She'd lost everything to my patience. The best revenge isn't served cold. It's served with a side of truth and a receipt for everything they thought they'd stolen. Amy would spend years trying to rebuild what she'd destroyed in months. I'd spend those same years building something she'd never understood, a life based on truth instead of manipulation. My phone buzzed one last time. Tom, beers tomorrow? Sure, but you're buying. I just became single again. Worth it to see Brad get tackled by fishermen. We both knew it was worth more than that. It was worth everything. I closed the blinds, shut off my phone, and for the first time in 8 months, slept without wondering what trap I'd wake up to. The perfect revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about letting them destroy themselves while you walk away intact and free. Amy taught me that. It was the only honest thing she ever gave me.